Another quick and easy video here. I'm going to be covering the teardown of the Pokemon Snap kiosk. I kind of decided to take it apart, clean it out, and also fix an issue with the printer. So I figured I'd cover it here quick and easy on what the insides of a kiosk are for the Snap and stuff like that. So if you go down here, I've taken apart the printer. I was having an issue where so I found an alternative ink and paper to be used that will work with these kiosks. It's a type of cassette that fits in here. Apparently I found an old forum covering that someone had done this before in the past. So there's the lever, and it uses this type of ink here. Now that arrow is very misleading, because that arrow, when you put this ink in the paper, it does not go that direction. That's the direction if you want just to tighten this ribbon. But if you say you want to go back on the tape, this is the full side, and this is where it empties into this side over here. So the tape will roll the opposite direction of the arrow. So this is a new side going into the old side over here. Now it's not the exact ink. It says standard here on the side. The originals will have the Pokemon Snap cartridges will say adhesive here on the side, and the only difference really between these is this is designed to print on glossy paper, non-adhesive paper, but it still will work just fine. It can. So I've done a print here. And then this paper, of course, will not have the cutouts for you to make, to peel out the stickers and stuff like that. So this is non-adhesive paper. Here's the back. It is just like that. The original adhesive paper will say adhesive on the back here. So let's see, but there you go. We'll say adhesive on the back. So this is the original. Now I did do a test print on the original, and so you can see there it does print and it won't come off. So regardless, this will work just fine. Now, if you manage to find an ink cartridge like this, be warned, the only way you can make it work is you either place the sticker of the adhesive one here, which is what I first did, because there's a sensor that reads this shiny foil when you stick it in to tell it that it's the adhesive. So you have to trick this machine to think it's adhesive ink. So one way to do that is either put the sticker here or actually scratch it off. This material can be scratched off. You see there I scratched a little bit off, and you can see a little bit of the shininess. So if you get one of these originals, you can just scratch off enough of the strip to make it match this this strip here, and it will accept it. And it will accept it thinking it's adhesive. And then as far as the paper size, it's an exact match to the kiosk. They match up perfectly. There's no difference whatsoever. But let me talk a bit about this particular printer. It's a NT300. It is a it's basically from another printer that Panasonic made. It doesn't say Panasonic anywhere that I can see, but Panasonic made this printer. Here it says model, has Nintendo. I can't remember the exact name of which printer Panasonic this derives from. The connectors on the front, of course, are... This is the edit one. This is where all of the credit stuff connects into. And this is the video feed. You could technically connect as video and maybe get better prints. So I might be doing that and seeing how that works. So I'll be doing an S video connection from my 64 in here and seeing if it will do a actual better image print, because you're giving it better video feed, so it won't be as blurry probably as composite. Now, unfortunately, the back is only composite video out going to the TV. So that's how it goes to the TV. This is the original TV, Samsung TV. So it will go in here, go through the system, and then the video will come out. And then this is the command control prompts here. There is another YouTube video covering how you can bypass the credit system to just print using this, taking screenshots of whatever you're looking on, which is what I'm doing now. I have confirmed that these all have 1 credit in each of them. I've inserted them in the card reader, and they all have 1 credit. The only thing is I just don't have the kiosk cartridge to do it how it's supposed to be, but I won't be doing that, unfortunately, because, you know, these are one-use cards, one-time use only cards. Once I've used them, the credit's gone, and I can't do anything. So for value and for preservation, I'm going to keep them as is. But the issue that I had with my printer was the fact that it was only printing in yellow at certain times. And so ever since I got the new ink cartridge, it would print fine every now and then. Like, here's my first print, and it printed fine. But then all of a sudden, it would just start printing in yellow and not do the other prints. But come to find out, I took this thing apart, like all of it apart. I took this top board out, a lot of connectors, and I took this board out. The gear that goes in here and spins the cartridge, for whatever reason, I would see it in here turn on and spin up. So this is the motor. This is the motor here that actually controls controls several mechanisms. But when it activates the gear for the ink cartridge to turn while it's printing, for whatever reason, at sometimes I would see it turn, but the inside spindle would not turn. So that led me to believe that there was an issue. You know, I was like, oh, I'll have to super glue the spindle to the other gear to get this to all turn, because apparently it's doing enough friction to where it'll spin the gear but not spin the inside over here where the actual cartridge is. When I first opened this up, I realized that there was a missing screw on that motor there, that screw that you see there in the center of the screen. And so I didn't know where it was. So when I took it apart, I actually found the screw kind of laying inside here. Luckily it wasn't hitting anything, so it didn't damage the printer. So I actually put that screw back. Who knows how that fell out. I kind of resetted all of these motors back in place, just because there is a little bit of wiggle room to move them around. So I just kind of seated them better with all the little plastic gear so that they won't fall off the rails. This is the fan, and then this is the connector to the header. This is a sublimation printer, I believe is what they call it. So it basically uses this as ink pretty much and paints it onto the actual paper. It does 3 layers. I think it does, for mine, it does yellow, magenta, and cayenne, I believe, are the 3 colors. But I'm gonna put this finally back together, because after yesterday messing with it and finally fixing the issue, now it prints perfect, you know, no issues. The quality is actually pretty good. You can see that. I wonder if I do this video, if it will do it any better, just because you have a better video quality. Here's another print I did. I actually used the real paper just to test to see if the ink will stick to it, and yeah, it sticks fine. Doesn't come off at all or rub on it. So that's good that I've got that working. I just kind of did a hack job here to kind of do my tests and working and all my connectors and stuff. I can go over the inside of the kiosk. I cleaned it up. It was filthy, all this dust and gunk. So the TV sits in here and has these 2 locking pins, and then there is this wire is for the actual light up here. Whenever there's a printer issue, this lights up. It's not currently working. I need to test for continuity, or just test to see if the ground and the positive are actually hitting the bulb up there. But I'll do that later. That's an easy thing to test for. It might just be soldering here is not proper. I have heard that people have had to do some soldering before, because these boards and the amount of solder they put on is actually not too much. So might need to reflow some of this stuff or figure something out. I will say that there's a ROM chip here that you can actually take out. This says it's on version 1.1, so there might be different versions from what I've been hearing. And then there's some dip switches right up here that I have no idea what they do. They're all in the off position. And I think that is it. You know what? I think this is incorrectly connected. I just found out, but right above here it says print button. So maybe that's why this isn't working the correct way. Someone has messed with this. This is power relay. So this is print button, this is power relay, and there's another empty thing over here. And what do you know? It says print problem lamp. So someone connected this in the wrong way and put the wrong buttons for the print button, because this is the print button here. So this has been feeded up here and has been connected into the return cartridge button. So it's in the wrong places. I'll have to go over this and fix the connectors. I don't see that there's anything wrong with this, because whenever I connect the actual card reader, it detects it and then says one credit there. So I know that works. I did find a patent on this, but it doesn't really tell you much than other stuff that how to wire all of this and where it all goes together, which I thought was pretty cool. But this is the card reader. It's using one of those chips that we all use in our debit cards nowadays. And then for the Nintendo 64, it has that double board there. It just has a power strip down here. There's the fan, and then all the wiring is run through here. But that's pretty much it. That was an update to the Nintendo 64 Snap kiosk. I figured I'd kind of go over an issue and resolving it. Like I said, for the gear that spins the ink cartridge, for whatever reason, all I did was, the spindle is actually pretty long, so I pushed it in deeper after I took it apart, and I could feel that it could hold more force to pull without it spinning itself within the spindle. And so once I did that, I put it all back together and did a test print, and it did it just fine. So if you ever have an issue where it's not detecting the ink or saying it's out of ink when clearly it does have ink, one way to know if the ink is being used at any point is the image. So here you see the yellow. This image that you see on this paper will be imprinted into the paper. As you can see, it's clear. So it has not been used yet. It's a good sheet to use. Once they're used, you'll see the image imprinted on it from this left over, because that's where some of the ink has transposed from the cartridge to the paper. Not, like I said, I'm not familiar with any of this stuff. I'm not like a super tech savvy guy, but I've always been very mechanically inclined, so I always like to take things apart and figure out how they work. And surprisingly, this isn't too difficult. It looks like a mess. Honestly, it does. But all these connectors just pull out, so you just be very careful. Pull out all the connectors. You see, they just pull out, yank them out, and they kind of have pressure. And then this entire assembly here under this board is actually just screwed on by 3 screws, and you remove some other connectors, and all the entire assembly comes out for you to service. So this here is the video board here that deals with all the video signal going out, and that over there I never mess with. That's the power supply. You know, that's the capacitors. All that looks good. I'm not going to touch any of that. I don't know how to deal with power supplies and high voltages, so I'm not even going to get near that. There's also a fuse, a 5 amp fuse right up there. So if that ever blows out, that's where you can replace it. Oh yeah, let me cover the TV. It is a Samsung model number TXH1370, manufactured May 1999. So right around the time Pokemania was taking over. But I've made this kiosk now completely work. I'm so happy about that. I'm so glad that this finally was able to work. Find a replacement ink, replacement paper that I can use and not worry, oh, I'm running out of the original stuff. I'll keep the original stuff in box. This will be boxed up. It has the original ink cartridge. Unfortunately, ink cartridge is no good, but the papers, extra set of papers in there. So I'll keep that for preservation's sake. And then I'll be able to use the replacement stuff on this kiosk, and I can be able to share pictures with friends, you know, gifts, stuff like that. So that'll be really cool that I'll be able to use this kiosk again. But yeah, it's not too crazy. It looks like a lot of proprietary stuff, but once you take it apart, there's not too much that really is crazy as far as like you don't know what to do with it. I mean, yeah, these boards are non-replaceable, but you know, it's just a credit system for you to allow to be able to talk to the printer and the console. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Crude, quick video here going over the Snap kiosk. Thank you and have a good one.